Just a quick reminder, the Behind the Goals podcast is available every Tuesday with me, Rachel Corsey, and me, Leanne Crichton. It's your one-stop shop for our take on everything that's happening in the world of football. Just head to BBC Sounds or wherever you get your podcasts and search for Behind the Goals.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Radio Scotland.
Hello and welcome to the Scottish Football Podcast. It's Monday the 9th of October and I'm David Currie. The countdown is on to Scotland's next Euro 2024 qualifier. It's against Spain in Seville on Thursday. It might just be the night Scotland qualify for the finals. Don't want to curse it or anything, but there you go. With me today is former Celtic and Scotland captain Paul Lambert. Paul, before we start, a wee question. Any idea what you were doing 27 years ago today?
No.
Well, I'll give you a wee clue. If I mention the place name Tallinn.
Was that the game that never was?
The game that never. Can you believe it's 27 years ago? 1996. Oh.
Yeah. I tell you what, that was going to be my full debut. That one.
Is that right?
We played Latvia. I came on against Latvia on the midweek or whatever it was. Beat Latvia 2-0, and in the Tallinn one, Craig was playing me for the start, and that was going to be my first ever full game. And then obviously the game that they never turned up, which was, I guess, a famous landmark now of Scotland's part of Scotland's history. Really.
All right. Well, here's a shameless link that I'm going to deploy now. Which Spain will turn up on Thursday in Seville? Oof. Will it be the Spain that won the Nations League? The Spain that beat Georgia 7-1 and Cyprus 6-0 in their most recent Euro qualifiers, or the one Scotland beat 2-0 at Hampden in March? If you recall, after that game, their star midfielder Rodri accused Scotland of playing, in inverted commas, rubbish football. Well, here's what Scotland assistant manager John Carver thinks of that.
I've got to be honest, I didn't like it. I thought it was disrespectful, but, you know, it was their prerogative to say whatever they want to say. Whether they wanted to use that as an excuse, I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, it agitated me. And I'm sure it would have got to some of the players. But there's a long time gone since then. And it's about being professional and having a clear head going into this game. So I don't think it'll be a distraction. But, you know, after what they said afterwards, it would be nice to win. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to give them any material where they can use it against us, you know, as motivation, as we talk about motivation. I don't want to do that. It's about going into the game. Let's attack the game and see where it takes us.
So, Paul, a point for Scotland on Thursday will be enough to qualify for the finals in Germany. Even if we lose, but Norway don't beat Cyprus, we're through. So more of the same, as Rodri would call it, rubbish would do me nicely on Thursday.
Well, I think, listen, David, it'll be an absolute, it would take a disaster for Scotland not to qualify. I think everybody realises that you can have all the permutations you want and have it's Scotland, they'll qualify. I've got no doubt about it, they'll qualify. They need that point. Will the Spain game be difficult? Yeah, it will be, because of what happened at Hampden and the Rodgers comments and things like that. So Spain will turn up, I think, because of that game at Hampden. But the lads know they've got one more point, and it might be enough. Even as you said there, if Norway don't get a result, it might still be enough. So it'll be a tough game, because Seville is a really hot place as well, as everybody knows, and they're used to that heat. And they're a good side, no matter what. Spain are a really good side, but we've already kind of beaten them, so it'll be a tough game.
Here's a thing I'm curious about, Paul. Right, we're talking about the comments. See, when you're talking about top professionals, and it comes down to 11v11 on. Do these wee kind of post-match, pre-match comment? Do they actually make a difference in the grand scheme of things?
Well, you definitely hold a grudge, without a doubt. Yeah, you hold a grudge and make sure you come up against them the next time. Then you want to stamp all over them. Basically, that's what you want to do. That's the be all and end all of football. You have to dominate your opponent. And if somebody said something derogatory about you or something about the team, then you'd want to You don't want to lay one on them in a good way. In a good way, you know. You would. That was always the way I kind of done it, you know. And I thought, well, if you want to be disrespectful, then fine. But if you have a bit of class and a bit of respect, you don't need to really go out and say too much. You just, I think Roddy should have handled it better. He should have took to the feet and went, okay, see the next time you just come to Spain, then we'll see what happens. But to say it or to air it publicly, yeah, he'd have been hurt by losing to Scotland and things like that. But I think you should have shown a bit more humility to it and probably let yourself down a little bit there.
Well, we'll see since that game, it's almost as if we woke them up, because they won the Nations League and then they've rattled in 13 goals in their last two qualifiers. They'll be rolling out the big guns for this one. I think only there's like 3 of the players that started against Scotland last time started their most recent game against Cyprus. A hand in the legs of Morata, Simon, Carvajal, etc. didn't start, so they won't be putting out an experimental side this time, will they? They're all going to be there.
They'll go for the juggler, without a doubt. They'll go for us, and listen, from their point of view, rightly so. They'll want to have one over you. As I said, they'll have the Hampden thing in their head a little bit, and I'm pretty sure there are 1 or 2 little grudge things there, which is normal in any type of professional sport I think you're playing in, and that'll be the same for them. But they'll turn up, whether they get a result or not. But they'll not take Scotland lightly again, that's for sure.
So as for Scotland, though, no Kieran Tierney, Paul. How big a miss is he? Because it seems to me, looking back over some results of not very recent results, but games when he wasn't playing, we do miss him.
I think it gives you the balance with his left foot, Kieran. I think that's a great thing for us. Him and Andy seem to dovetail pretty well on the left side. I think you lose him on that. I think his attitude to the game looks great. Kieran Tierney, I don't know the guy, but looking from the outside looking in, his attitude looks really good. As they all do, to be fair, the team or the lads that Stevie's picked, their attitudes seem to always spot on, which is great. It's more like a club side with it, and that helps you in international football, David. And I think losing Kieran, we're lost, and he's playing in Spain as well, which is it was a bit unlucky for him as well. So
who do you see coming in for him? Is it Cooper that comes in, even though he's not had a lot of game time recently? Yeah,
it could well be left-sider. It could well be that he could step in. But Stevie would know. I mean, whatever team or squad Stevie's picked in the last couple of years, they've turned up. They've never been really turned over. So I think whoever he picks has got that mentality where they'll fit in pretty well with the rest of the ones that regularly play.
And we've only lost 1 goal in this qualifying campaign. 5 games, only lost 1 goal so far. Defence has been strong.
And it will have to be against Spain. I mean, not just the back lads, but you're going to have to really defend. If they turn up and they really want to play, they'll play. And that's where you have to be really tuned into the movement and where they're going to play and how they're going to play Spain. So, but the lads know that. But the lads are, the great thing I think about the country with the guys at the minute, a lot of them play at a high level, and that helps them, without a shadow of doubt. That helps them playing in front of big crowds, knowing how to handle big games, and they're big players themselves. They're playing in the Premier League, they play up in Celtic and places like that. So they know big games. They play in front of big crowds. They're not as if they're turning up in front of 12, 15,000. You're talking a big crowd they're going to play in front of.
Well, but you're referring to the guys that are playing in the English Premier League. I had a wee look. Not a lot of them, but some of them aren't getting that much game time. Your likes of Scott McTominay, mind you, came off the bench late on Saturday to score 2 for Man United and save their bacon. I mean, you're talking about attitude, Paul. I don't know if you watched the match, but you saw what that meant to him and the absolute determination and will to get United back into that game. I mean, he's been important for us. Scored 6 goals so far in the campaign. Scored 2 against Spain.
I think that again, I go back to the attitude of it. It's very easy for me to feel sorry for yourself and think, well, I'm not going to get Man United and the manager's not picking me for certain games, but he's laid a marker down for the manager now when he comes back from the national game, does the manager pick him, or does he leave him back on the bench? But his attitude's been spot on, and I think every time he plays for Scotland, never lets Scotland down either. So I think when you look at him, you'd like to think you know what you get from him because of his attitude, and that's a great trait in any player. It doesn't matter how talented they are, if they've got a great trait with a work ethic and a hunger and a desire to succeed, you'll not go far wrong, and he seems to have it. And it's testament to himself that he came on at Man United, and it's very easy probably for him to go feel sorry for himself, but he turned up and gave them the win.
He's a hero to the Tartan Army, but much maligned by a section of the Man United support. And I was reading comments there on social media. Some were saying, you know, why do we keep playing him as a six? We should have him much further forward. But I kind of think, Paul, McTominay for Scotland, see if you gave him goalie gloves, he would do a job for us in goals. I mean, he's one of these players you think he could play anywhere.
And I think that you're saying there, I think most of the guys could. I think you could play most of the guys in a lot of positions and they'd be able to handle it. That comes with game intelligence. Well, that's the game knowledge. That's not. You're inbred with that. You actually know at a really young age how to play a lot of positions. You just find a niche for yourself where you think that's going to be my strongest. But I'm pretty sure you could play Scotland tonight. But he's played at the back, dealt with it, no problem. He plays, you just said, if he plays with a sitter or he plays going forward, he can do it. But I think that's the same with a number of the guys. I really do. Different than forward area guys, but from middle to back or back to middle, yeah, most of the guys could play most positions.
Now, you were a midfield maestro, played at the very highest level, won the European Cup for goodness sake, but you look at the other guys in the midfield were strong there. Yeah. I want to talk a wee bit about Lewis Ferguson, who's kind of, you know, he's in the squad, he's coming on, making the odd substitute appearance. But at Bologna, he's garnering all the headlines. Man of the match against Inter at the weekend, according to reports. He skippered the side. How close do you think he is to getting a starting berth in the team?
Look, you're right. The midfield is strong. The lads in there are strong. He's got to force his way in. Yeah, I saw him playing last season actually against Salernitana, and I watched the game and he done well that day as well. So him going to take the move and going abroad to Italy and learning different culture, different way of playing, different language, great for him, absolutely great. And I'll guarantee he's catapulted into where he thinks he could, if he did get played for Scotland, he would handle it. So again, playing big games, big crowds, playing against Inter, as you said, if he got man of the match, they were so close to winning the Champions League last season. So again, his career's progressing really, really quickly. Would he let Scotland down? No, he wouldn't, because he's got the confidence as well. But the midfield is strong there at the minute. He's just got to force himself in that group where Stevie can start him.
What would your midfield be for this game?
Dear, oh dear. Well, for me, Callum's always is going to start at the minute. Callum. You've got Billy Gilmour there, who's playing ever so well for Brighton. I don't think he played against Liverpool. Didn't play against
Liverpool. I was just wondering if he was rotated out there or if maybe he's dipped a wee bit.
Yeah, the great thing about him, he plays great on the back foot because he can receive and take a pass. So can Callum. I think Scott was going to play. Scott McTominay's going to play because of what he's done in the past and his goal scoring record at the minute. It depends what Stevie goes with, whether he goes with 3 or whether he goes with 2 in there. I don't know. That'll be Stevie's opinion. But I think you've got so many options in there that can play. It's a difficult one, but I think Stevie will go with the ones that have done it for him with game after game.
So you're talking about McTominay starts, McGinn starts, McGregor and Gilmour.
It could be, or if somebody gets left out. But you look at the 4 of them, the ones you've just mentioned there. John McGinn's flying at Aston Villa, has been for a number of years. Callum's, some of the games I see Callum play, could play with his suit on up the road. So when you look at that, Scott McTominay's never let us down. So when you look at that sort of, and Billy Gum's a really good player. So you look at the 4 of them, there's some really good, they're all very good footballers. Technically, they're very good footballers. So, and their game intelligence is very good, and they know because they're playing You just mentioned it there. Gilmour's in the Premier League, McGinn's in the Premier League, McGregor's in one of the biggest clubs in world football as well. McTominay is the exact same. They know how to play the game, and I think that's a key to it for me. Is guys are playing in big games every week.
Now, we were looking up front. We're not over blessed with guys that are scoring goals at the top level. I think if you look, Jacob Brown's playing in the Premiership, the English Premier League. He's got one goal there. Dykes, I think he's got one for QPR. Christie's not scored. Nisbet's got a couple for Millwall. Adams 3 for Southampton. Does that give you any cause for concern, or do you look at how they've played when they've played for Scotland and they've done well?
I think that's it. If you look at Scotland in years gone by, it's been the same sort of thing. Gone by, you'd Dalglish, Jordan and Archibald, all them guys, brilliant footballers. Then you Charlie, Nicholas McAvenny, people like that. All brilliant strikers. Graham Sharp, even my own time with Gordon Jury and Kevin Gallagher and people like that. But McCoist, brilliant goal scorers. But we've never had that. If you want to really go the right hog with the Brazilian Ronaldo, the Ronaldo of Portugal, the Messis and that, we've never had that sort of thing. But what you do get is you get a collective team and a team spirit that everybody mucks in with it. And they guys you just mentioned there, they chip in with the goals, and it might only be one you need to get you where you want to get it. We're never going to be a nation, I don't think, that's going to beat somebody 5s and 6s. We're never going to be that. That's not in our DNA. That never has been for years. So when you look at the guys at the minute, yeah, they're finding a wee bit hard time at the minute. But when they go with Scotland, they seem to galvanise and they get your result.
Yeah, mind you, at the other end, Angus Gunn, he seems to have nailed on the number 1 jersey. But I was having a wee look. He shipped a few goals for your former charges, Norwich. Not all down to him, I trust. I know they lost 6-2 at Plymouth. There was a 4-all with Southampton. Have you been keeping tabs on him?
He's done well. Norwich are having like any club, and it's very early doors of the season as well. It's really early, and again, as you said there, he's probably nailed it down. Again, Steve will go back to who you can try and trust it with it, and if Angus Gunn's the one that he picks, then great. Again, he's never let Scotland down. I don't think there's one player you'd ever turn around and say, well, he's let us down, really. And the great thing about it is we're not giving caps to people that don't deserve it. The ones that have come in have probably deserved their shot at it.
Now, we're on a great run, still on a great run, competitive games, but I'm just wondering how significant that defeat, albeit in a friendly to England, might be for the confidence levels. Does it lower them? Could it derail any momentum?
No. You take the friendlies as they are. Yeah, okay, England, great. Jude is for me, I said that a few years ago when I saw him, he's probably going to be one of the best young midfielders in the world, which seems to be happening at the minute. But Harry's obviously scoring goals at Bayern and scoring regular for England. England are a good side. I don't think anybody shouldn't. But it's a friendly. What do you get? You don't get anything friendly other than a pat in the back and say, well done, I'll see you later, and you've got a cap against England. So it's not going to take you where you really want to get to. Will it have any bearing on the Spain game? None. Because Spain are a top side, and I said before, they'll go there in that wet, that heat, in that environment, and you know you're going to have to play well to get something. And if Scotland get a result there, then it'll be one of the best results they've had in a long, long time.
So, Paul, just finally, imagine you were the skipper in Scotland in this game on Thursday night. What would you be saying to the boys as you're standing there in the tunnel?
Well, I wouldn't have any fear. You thrive on that game. I wouldn't have any fear. I wouldn't bother who was up against next to me. Wouldn't bother me. But that's the way I was as a player. I would have no respect for any of them either with it. You respect them as a footballer when you get there, but I wouldn't respect them when you're on the pitch. It's me against them or us against them. And you try and win at all costs. You try and win ugly. You try and do all the gamesmanship that you can do, because you're going to be under the cosh with it. But I tell you, I wouldn't go out there and feel any inferior to them. And I'm pretty sure all the guys will probably have that mindset, because they're all playing at big clubs and they know win things. And when you have that, it's a very powerful thing. But I certainly wouldn't have been fairer to whoever Spain had in their team. But I was never like that, David, as a player. Never bothered me against, you know.
Right, Paul, I think on that note, you've got me puffing my chest up with pride there. I think we'll leave it there today. Thanks very much to our special guest, former Scotland captain Paul Lambert, and to you for listening. Spain versus Scotland is live on Sportsline from Seville on Thursday with highlights on Sports Scene, and there will be another Scottish football podcast tomorrow. Take care.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Radio Scotland.